Okay. This will be a quick video. Don't mind my lacklusterness. I woke up half an hour ago to do this. It is 7:44 in the morning. Okay. So besides what I've already gone through in the presentation, I try to do as in detail screenshots as possible. There's some things that just aren't able to. So first of all, when you import it, you're not going to have any of these steps, so don't pay attention to that. You're going to have like these three on the side, and IntelliJ is a little different besides on the setup, besides the whole language of Python, I believe. But we go to this fabric one, this is where all your code's going to be for a new mod. GitHub, Gradle, I'll skip that for right now. That stuff, I think you might like touch barely briefly on when importing things, but you don't go back to it. You go to the source, go to Java, and you see how it's separated like this. Actually, if we go to these three dots, appearance, come down, compact middle packages. This will be on by default. When you do this, if you do, you want it off because you want things in the example mods section, not in the net Hayden. It's net or com, then your name. So you first have to set up with the mod client, and this is a Java class. Basically initializes that it's a Fabric API, and initializes that it can be a mod. And the video called an example mod. I'm doing an example mod. I just call it the same, just because with the little minor changes to the items, just because it's like an example mod to your introduction to modding Minecraft. Anyway, example mods, your imports call your locations, mod blocks, mod items. Each one of these are going to be down here. Mod blocks, mod items. This, you call the logger in and whatnot, and you initialize everything, but you don't get the register mod blocks or mod items until later. Mod items are the first thing you get to, and you have import. But here are the two lines of the two custom items, and whatnot. And I believe I already went over them. If I didn't, I'm a dumbass. Excuse my language. Sorry. And this basically, if I haven't, adds them to what type of item group in the creative menu. We go to mod blocks. Mod blocks are so much harder for no apparent reason. And it makes sense. So we have the three blocks, the ore, the steel block, and the galvanized frame. You have two helper classes, which are a whole thing. I think I went over them. Let's hope. And essentially that adds them to the building blocks section. We go down to resources. Like you can see how in depth this gets, like how many I have up here. You go assets, and then you have to have, when you do items, you'll need to make a lang, a models, and a texture package. Basically, this is right clicking, new directory. If we go say lang is the first one you do. This is you right click here, new file, and that's what creates this in .json, and they're all .json, so you kind of have to have it like that. Block steps are for the blocks. Models, you have items in both models and textures, and same with blocks in both models and textures. So you have the code to the blocks, and you have the code to the items. Let's not go to one. But any of the blocks have to be in the items, because here's why blocks are so much more difficult. Not only do you need to code you placing down the block and having the faces be the same, on all sides for the texture. You also have to code the item if it's, let's say, dropped, and it's a 2D item kind of portrayed in a 3D space. Like, think if you ever played Minecraft and have dropped a diamond on the ground. Sort of like that. Textures are the same junk. You do not need them overlapped though. So blocks are in their separate ones. So you have the galvanized frame, block of steel, and raw steel ore. Now, actually, if you see here, the steel block is actually I might show that. It's basically saying it's trying to call PNGs of that same name. This is block of steel since it's translated within here. I would have to double check if it has to be the same as like that. It might have to be. So I can always just I can delete that, go to my files, and rename it. That is the wrong tab. And that's about it. All this is extra. When you import it, you get a bunch of packages, and you have to undo them. So that's all extra for the moment. Yeah, that's about it for now. You have blocks, you have items, you have the rendering of the blocks when they're placed, you have all the tools and whatnot, and I am to be working on next. I wanted it for this, but didn't have time. But next, I'm going to be working on crafting recipes because my plan is for the galvanized frame to be a mixture of the steel ingots and the galvanized screws, and then you get the block of galvanized frame, and you also have to add one for the steel block, which is just 9 steel ingots. And then a furnace recipe for the steel ingot from the ore. But essentially, that's about it. Anyway, I think that is all. Bye bye.